I think we realize that the past 4 or 5 years have been very, very difficult. And two major events happened. One is the COVID-19, which made sure that we all don't work, we all don't move, we don't get supplies, transport became expensive, and also we couldn't find money. So we had a financial squeeze. Before COVID was finished, then you had a war that happened. So because of that, and I think Patricia would tell you and other bankers, sources of finding cheap capital, mobilizing global liquidity that would help us became quite very difficult. So I think it was on that basis that President Museveni and Cabinet, through the Minister of Finance, decided to say, how do we help our people? And I can tell you that for at least the foreign investors we have, for them they have flexibility to find money outside, from other banks that may have different terms from our own local investors that borrow from our own resources that we have here. So what did we do as Uganda Investment Authority? We said, wait a minute, let's try to strengthen our local investment division, which is headed by Richard, to see how we can support our local investors. For those who are in industrial parks, and I think Patricia can testify to that, who we give free land, we say if you have started and you're at 30% and you can show evidence, as Uganda Investment Authority would write to the Uganda Development Bank and say, give these investors money to complete their projects because of the squeeze they couldn't find any other money. And I'm happy that some of our investors in the Nama and the Industrial Park and other parks have got some money from UDB to complete their factories, but to also bring in the equipment to start producing. What did we also do? We said, let's also work with SMEs, because we believe that small businesses are the future big businesses, they are the future unicorns, or what you call the global big businesses. So I reached out to my friend, John Warugembe. I said, Warugembe, what do we do? You work with the small scale and medium enterprises. So we negotiated a memorandum of understanding. And that's partly why you see him here and his team working. And recently we launched a platform to ensure that some of these services, and I hope that we are going to be able to upload the products from UDB to be on that portal for purposes of access. So, Honorable Minister, what I can say broadly is that the small businesses are the bloodline of any country. All the jobs we have, mostly are with the small scale businesses. There are over 1.1 million SMEs across the country. They constitute 80% of all the output, all the GDP we have in the country. So if they are not supported and they collapse, then certainly we do not have an economy. So listening to the help or the injection that government has done, for me it's a very good start and it's impressive because it's not only through UDB. The Honorable Minister told you about the agricultural credit facility, and this one works with all the banks, no matter whether you are in Kapchorwa, whether you are in Chisoro, whether you are in Busia, you can engage with the bank and have access, and we had them here. We have the COVID recovery fund for also businesses and mostly small scale businesses. This also works. Many banks, and I think the bank that has given more money is Opportunity Bank, in that regard. So today we have UDB, which also has, retains some other interesting products that SMEs can get in touch with. So when we are talking, then we have the parish development model, which is trying to also reach the villages and the communities. So I think these 1.1 million SMEs, John Warugembe, we may want to know the basket of all these funds and the eggs that we have in this basket. How many are reaching, what are the specific problems and challenges, and I'm happy that this journey has started at the Ministry of Finance. Thank you very much.
We do not do micro enterprises. We don't support them because there are some other government programs that complement what we do. And I think that's the structuring of how government is seeing how to help, different categories of businesses. So, for example, you can be supported under Microfinance Support Center, especially ESTA, if you are a cooperative. But people can actually get small amounts of money. Pride is also another government institution which is really focusing on micro. Postbank can also be able to do the smaller, lower than 50 million that we do. So we are looking at businesses that, can also scale up. So that's why we say we want to be registered, we want to help you professionalize. We don't want it to remain small or medium, but scale up from small to medium, from medium to large. And we'll be very careful to make sure that we give the right advice so that you can actually move or progress. But what is it that we do? For example, Esther and the lady from Nakaseke, we do support farmer cooperatives. I was starting to talk about some of the interventions we do, like value chain financing or smallholder or cooperatives, like farmer cooperatives. We have supported a number of cooperatives, especially dairy cooperatives and other farmer cooperatives. So here we do our assessment at the level of cooperative, like that level, where there's the executive and, etc. So a cooperative can have, say, 300 or 1,000 members. And then each member, maybe you want to buy 3 animals or 5, or you want to do something small. So what we do, we lend money at the cooperative level, and then you then manage and give that money, distribute it depending on the needs of your members. But by the time we do that, you will have submitted to us, because we have to account, and then we later monitor. So you have to give us a list and say, this member wants this and this so much, this wants this, and then when you amalgamate, it comes maybe to 300 million. But you know that the beneficiary is going to maybe benefit 5 million or 10 million or 20 or 2, depending on what we need. So that is how we support groups. So we can engage with your group and see how that can be structured. And then for NACA investments, NACA investments, we can have, if it's 3 years ago that you came, I think, of course, there have been improvements in our product offerings. So maybe we can relook. But if you have land in Nakaseke where you are farming, you have land where you want to put a factory, we usually take that project site as collateral. For example, someone can come and say, I have 50 acres. What do I do? Or you just come and we advise and say, on those 50 acres or 100 acres, we can, that is already your investment and your contribution, okay? So that same contribution of yours, we shall factor it in as your equity contribution, and then we shall also take it as your collateral, okay? So, and when you have that, we then develop everything on the farm. If you want to, say, fatten animals, beef, we can give you money to plant pasture, give you money to do irrigation, we give you money to buy the animals. So why wouldn't you work? Your contribution is just your 100 acres of land that you have been having there.
This is for the SMEs whose turnover is between 10 to 100. But if you're micro, so you're below the 50, you can go to Microfinance Support Center, which is, by the way, also supervised from Ministry of Finance. You can then go to under the Imyoga project. We're going to go into the details of those other projects. But my interest, I first want to get NACA who actually qualifies. Yes, so from here, where does NACA go?